here we are, back at it again with the white vans.
Dude, people die because of those vans, man. People get hit by vans. This isn't funny. Stop laughing about vans.
I meant the shoes. The meme with the shoes. There was a kid who was like, damn, whatever, back at it again with the white vans.
But I'm thinking like maybe somebody's tripped. Maybe somebody's tripped and scuffed their knee. Okay.
You always
scuffed
be
knees,
straight tripping.
Scuffed knees.
You always be tripping.
Scuffed knees.
You always be
scuffed
tripping.
knees are not funny.
You always be tripping.
Shush. Okay, deck profile time. What's
Masterfeja
up?
over there.
Is your
Dayman
boy?
over here.
Is your boys?
Yeah,
your
your
boys
boy.
with a Z. Z means plural.
Zzz.
That's what I learned in school.
Boys.
So Dayman and Masterfeja, what's up?
Sadu.
Okay, last time this guy showed up, last time we did a deck profile,
We actually made fun of it.
We made fun of it hardcore.
Super hard.
Super hard. Just because, like, Dayman super liked the old one better.
Yeah.
And then, just like with when we were doing the Soul deck profile last time, this deck became super awesome.
It became better, honestly, with Vingolf. Like, Vingolf and the set after with the Creature Gill.
Yeah, so Vingolf
made it drastically better.
Vingolf and Echoes, man. Echoes of the New World.
So,
Alright, so
Gill
this deck.
Lapis, Conqueror of Attoractia. So he has judgment cost of red, black, 6. Cost 1 less for each card in their removed area. So it's like opposite of the Observer deck that I used to play when I first started. And it's funny because the decks I seem to be like all gung-ho about are playing with the removed area. So there's Observer, there's the new tree deck, and him. The tree deck isn't as good anymore after rotation unless they bring out more cards that can like help it get a little better, or if the meta slows down a little bit, because running it green it was a little slow, whatever. But anyways, all of the decks that I like for some reason play with removed area. So he has Energize, red, black, and you can pay 0 to target if target non-Magistone card your opponent controls this turn. Controls would be put into a graveyard this turn, removed from the game instead, so it has to be from field to grave. Place ability only during your turn and only once per turn.
Yeah.
So if you kill something or they banish something to do whatever, then, and it's on your turn, like banish a wind secluded refuge or something, you can make it go to removed, which helps you fuel it. So on his J Ruler side, he is Gill Lapis, Rebel of Darkest Flames.
Oh my
Darkest
god.
Fires. So, such a rebel. He's 1,000,000, J Ruler Wanderer. So you can pay 0.
I'm not even gonna hold this. Nobody can freaking read that.
I can. So you can pay 0, put target non-Magistone card.
Oh jeez.
Earthquake! Can't handle
So
the
dark.
rebel.
His fires are so dark.
Can't handle his rebelness. Anyways, pay 0. Put target non-Magistone card from your opponent's removed area onto the bottom of the deck. Then he can gain either Swiftness, Precision, Flying, or First Strike. So you can do 2 cards and give him Swiftness, Flying, or something, right? Mm-hmm. So you can pay X with your stones, whatever. Target, it has to be a face-up target card in your opponent's removed area. And you can play it for free. Well, you pay, but you don't pay its colors. You pay into its X cost, not the actual spell. So it's an ability, not a spell, whatever. And you can play it, it comes in your field, or you cast the chant, whatever, from the removed area. If you would do that, it would typically go back to their grave. But there's a card in here that stops that, and you can use it again next turn, whatever. You do that ability once per turn, but every turn.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could pay a red and a black, put 2 target, believe it's, yes, put 2 target cards from removed area, their removed area, on the bottom of the deck, destroy target Resonator. So
I've never seen you use that though.
No, not typically. But honestly, I probably should sometimes, but I don't really think of it usually because I have other cards to deal with Resonators. So, as a little tidbit of information, so if you're playing against a Kaguya deck, for example, she has a card where it's an addition that removes the top 3 cards of the deck face down, right? And that's like extending their hand, right? So his abilities, the only abilities that can target those face down cards are the first one and the last one. The second one, you can't play those cards that are face down. And there are cards that specifically say, like, remove this card face down, remove this card whatever. If it says remove it, it's face up. If it says remove face down, it's face down. So if you're playing against that kind of a deck, you can throw it on the bottom, one of those cards randomly to get an ability, or you can, put 2 of them on the bottom to destroy something, but the second ability can't target those. Okay, so he's really aggressive now that Leviton's banned because he's one of the only ones with built-in swiftness.
No, leave him on there.
Leave him on there? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was just leaving in the corner.
So first I'm going to start off with the Resonators, because there's less of them, which is kind of
Actually,
weird.
you know what? Let's start with the stones just so we can have our little funny anecdote.
All right.
Okay, so we were playtesting just a slight variation to this deck, and we were doing it against my Gill Lapis deck, which we might do a video of at a later time. Anyway,
sort of father versus son, but not
sort
really,
because they're not actually related apparently.
But they're Gill whatever, which is weird.
Which we will probably find out in the next sets when they explain Gill's background. Anyway, this is probably like turn 2 or 3. I had just played Fated Reunion, but I didn't have any Resonators on the field, so the card that I had searched for went on top of my deck. And of course, me being a big old digital dummy, I completely forgot the fact that this guy's playing a deck where literally the character stones makes you remove a card off the top of your deck from the game. So I played that, put it on top. I'm getting all happy and psyched because I'm ready to play that card next turn.
It's like critical to your deck.
It was actually pretty important.
All I do is I turn my ruler sideways and I go
shaboop.
Bam. So Magic Stone of Ebonholm. So it counts as a red, a fire, and a darkness stone. If you don't play Gill Lapis, it burns you if you wanted to come in unrested for 300. But also, when this card enters the field, you remove the top card of your opponent's deck from the game. So he paid 2, he put a card on top, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. Tap my ruler, stone comes in, I'm like, oh no.
Actually, no, funny thing is that when he first did it, he didn't even realize what I had done, right? He wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
And then he goes like, okay, just get rid of the top card in your deck. And I'm like, seriously, dude? Are you serious right now? And he was like, what? Dude, I just Fated Reunion. He's like, oh no!
I actually felt bad.
He did feel bad. He's a nice guy. He's a nice guy.
But these are fantastic. Honestly, I find them like better than just a regular red-black, regular Scorched Barrels. Like, it does the same thing. It can possibly burn you, but it just gets rid of a card from their deck.
Yeah. Anyway, so we got 4 of those.
We got 4 of those, yeah. We got 4 Magic Stone of Heaven's Rift.
Yep.
Super, like, metal name. Like, such a good band name.
It is.
Anyways, produces white or black. And we got 2 Magic Stone of Scorched Bales. Same thing as Guildstone, but just a regular version. Red or black. Counts as a fire, counts as a darkness. Just basic. So we'll start with the Resonators. This is one of the cards that came in Vingolf. Super happy I got these. I'm going to play 4 Darkness Wizard. So it's a 2/2. Tap for a black. Spend this will to only play chants. And we play a heavy chant deck where most of them are 1-drop or 2-drops or whatever, so he really helps playing those cards. Then whenever you play a Darkness chant, you may put the top card of your deck in your grave. I literally never do that. It's not that type of deck.
No.
So you choose, right? So it's not like you have to. So the fact that you don't have to saves it. I played 3. What's it? Abdul, Alhazred, Poet of Madness. So people should know that card by now. It's a 6/6 wizard. Resonators entering your opponent's field don't cause their own abilities to trigger. So it's a weird way of kind of saying it. It makes it sound like they don't cause their own abilities when they enter, but it's just flat out your opponent doesn't get enter effects of Resonators.
Yeah.
I played 3 Gill Lapis, Usurper of Maddening Power. So he's a 3-drop, white-black 1, and he's one of the main reasons I have white in this deck. Will of Despair, that doesn't really affect anything. Precision, that's really helpful. When this card enters your deck, you search for a light or dark chant, total cost 1, which we mostly have 1-drop dark ones. Put it in your hand. Effects of chants you control that cause you to lose life don't cause you to lose that life. He gains 1/1 for each other Resonator with Will of Despair. So only if you have another Gill, and that's not really significant in this deck, so that it really doesn't happen often. But
I'm imagining that maybe in later sets or in later like boxes and stuff like that, they'll have other like big chance that like, hey, do such and such devastating effect, but you lose like 20 life or something crazy. And I think that we're gonna revisit this guy for like making sure
totally. Oh yeah, that would be if that came out, he would get even more. He's already kind of an expensive card.
Yeah. In terms of
this game, his chant is honestly more expensive than he is, but he's like, what's it, $4 for a regular, $5 for a full art or something?
Yeah.
Which is pretty expensive for force. So we play 4 of the main beat stick of the deck. This is Valentina, the Twilight Passion. So it's Valentina in Shion's body, or whatever. It's a 4-drop, 9/9, 12 Apostle. When this card enters the field, you remove a Resonator, total cost 2 or less, from your opponent's field from the game. And if a Resonator that was dealt damage by her is put into a grave, you remove from the game instead. So she even actually helps field your deck. So you could pay 0, put target card from your opponent's removed area on the bottom of the deck. If you do, she gains swiftness or precision. And you can pay 0, put 3 cards from your opponent's removed area on the bottom of the deck. Gets +5/+5. So if you have a ton removed already, you can do 3 and then 6, or 3 and then 3 more and then 3 more to get 5/5/5 and get like really big.
Not to mention the fact that if you even play a little bit more passively and you have this creature tapped out on the field and somebody's going to go in precision or just body into it, or they want to use some sort of a damage-based destruction spell, you're like, okay, remove 3, it's now a 14/14, remove 3, it's now a 19/19.
Yeah. And there are cards in here actually that I recently added that can untap a Resonator you control. So if like they're attacking you, you play that, you untap her, you block that thing would die, gets put into a removed area, you just netted another card that can help you.
Yeah, it propagates its own ability essentially by keeping it alive and killing your opponent's like attempts to try to kill it.
And if you do that and start doing that ability after your judgment, then you don't need all of those cards in the removed area as much anymore.
It's kind of crazy how much love in terms of like very useful abilities Valentina has gotten in the last few sets, right? Like I thought that this card was phenomenal. I kind of steered away from it because I don't usually like to venture into the 4-cost levels of Resonators, and this is coming from the guy who used to pay 8 to play a Cthulhu. But
you found a way to cheat about
I always looked for a way at least. So there's this one, and then there's the new like 7-drop blue-black one that you can cheat in with for cheaper with
more stuff in the grave.
And then it recurs stuff from the grave. Like, what's with all these ridiculously good abilities for different versions?
That one's okay.
I think it's not as good as this one.
No, not anywhere near, because that one, like, it sits there and you don't get its effect until next turn, and you get one thing into play, which is still really good, but it sits there for a turn, and it's more vulnerable than she is.
True.
Because it's an 8/8 that can't get buffs. She's a 9/9 that can get buffs. So the only thing that kills it is flat out kill or remove from game.
I think it would have been interesting if they decided to give it quick cast like they did for the 2-drop 0.
Don't even go there. That'd be like ridiculous. Anyways, that is really good. Valentina is like, for some reason they love the shit out of her.
Do you think they're gonna have like an old version of, or I guess technically an early version of Valentina in the
no, because this is like thousands of years in the
okay,
past.
But was she immortal though?
No,
she was just a person.
No, she was just like greedy as shit and like stole Precia's body and then like stole her body and then like all that kind of stuff. I don't know like a ton about the lore, but
yeah, should look into it sometime.
I play 1 dimension dragon Nidhogg. He's a 6-drop, so he's like for late game kind of thing, but he has a mass removal effect. So he's a 12 apostle / dragon. Flying, when this card is in the field, remove all Resonators your opponents control with the lowest cost among them from the game. So, comes in, remove all 1-drops, or remove all 2-drops if they have 2s, or like tokens if they're token deck, right? Which is really nice. And if it's actual like cards, that fuels your removed area really nicely. Mm-hmm. More so against like big swarmy decks. Like, let's say you're playing against like Feet Sing. Right, if they generated a ton of tokens, that just solved your token problem.
Yeah.
But there's a chant that, so you could play a chant. There's a chant that actually works really well for tokens and 1-drops and stuff. So you could play that, then play Nidhogg and just remove the next card, next cost up, or whatever. But we'll get to that card later, and I'll reference Nidhogg when we do. So I play 1 Barrier Seal, So what it does is, when this card enters your field, remove all cards in all graves from the game. If a card would be put into a grave, it's removed from the game instead. That's a fantastic card. So like, just the cards coming up are hand control put into the grave kind of thing. This turns them into fuel for your removed area, or for their removed area. And then I play a single 0 Circle of Protection. That one isn't as necessary if you're playing against a deck that doesn't really play removal or doesn't burn your cards. I can honestly take that out for whatever. I just didn't know what to put in as a one-of.
Mm-hmm.
So I play 4 Nameless Mist, which you can play with your Darkness Wizard, because we're more afraid of chance. We have a lot of creature removal in the deck. Look at target player's opponent's hand, choose a non-resonator card, they discard it, put a 1/1 counter on a resonator you control. So.
And this deck is heavily chance.
Yeah. So we play 3 Scorn of Dark Gallus. If you play against a deck that's heavy creatures, you could take out the Circle of Protection, put a 4th of that in. So look at target opponent's hand, and it was actually reprinted in Vingolf, so it's going to be around for a while.
There's going to be some vibrations because my phone is running out of battery.
Oh dang.
Low battery mode. Boop.
Okay. Actually, not that bad.
That's all good.
Anyways, look at target opponent's hand, choose a resonator, they discard that card. So if you're playing against something that doesn't target your stuff, or it's heavy creatures, I'd say take out Circle of Protection, throw in a 4th of that. Or you could throw in a 4th of this, but I play 3.
Yeah, if you're big old money bags and you're just swimming in like 15 a bunch of these guys.
So it's Heteroclite Excalibur. Remove target resonator from the game for 1. You lose 500 life, so if you have the Gill Lapis out, you don't lose the 500 life. That's like one of the best cards recently. Just ugh. So I play 4 Fated Reunion, just because of all of the black resonators I play. So like Darkness Wizard, Abdul, Gill Lapis, the Valentina, they're all darkness, and so is the J Ruler. So it's really easy to get both off, like target card from deck to hand. It's pretty common that happens, and having Darkness Wizard makes that like super cheap. It helps your curve a lot. Search for a card, put it on top of the deck, or search for a card, shuffle the deck, put it on top, then draw a card. So it's basically tutor to hand, and you don't have to show them. Then I play 4 Unending Hatred. So red-black. Look at target opponent. If you control a fire and a darkness J/Resonator, you may do both, which happens, but not as likely as Fated Reunion's both effect kind of thing. So look at target opponent's hand, pick a card in general, and then remove that card from the game, or destroy all resonators your opponent controls with total cost 1 or less, so really good against Feat Thing or Token, whatever, and you destroy them. So if you played that, and then like let's say you played Nidhogg right after, then you get even more like mass removal, especially if Barrier Seal was out. Then I play 4 Manifestation of Power. So quick cast, this card also came out in Vingolf, so it's the white starter deck or Vingolf. Choose 1, recover target resonator you control, cough cough Valentina, cough cough, draw a card, or destroy target addition. And what are additions that I wanted to kill? Wind Secluded Refuge, which was reprinted in Vingolf. It's really good against that if you want to end up like removing one of the creatures, but that's stopping you.
Mm-hmm.
Then you play that, you destroy that addition, remove that card that you want to hit. And then I play a single Final Battle, so you can up that to 2. Most people expect you to play 1, so they kind of build around that. Like they play that 3-drop chick that heals your ruler or stuff like that. So expecting you just to have 1, but if you have 2, kind of helps. Just, you know, you have to pay life early game if you want to play it. So not as safe, but anyways, I mean, it counts as a 1-drop because it's 1 black and X, so Gill Lapis can search it. So you may pay 200 life rather than pay 1 up to X times to play this card. J/Resonators your opponent controls gain -X until end of turn. So that kills like 0, for example, that where if she prevents the damage, if you -X her to death, then she's dead.
Yeah.
So if like you're playing against that, and they usually expect a deck to have just one. If you think that they might, it's like double prediction. Like you're predicting that they're gonna predict a certain thing, so you'd put in like I'd put like one extra one in sideboard if you're gonna make a sideboard. I usually don't. I don't know, but yeah, that's the only thing I could think of for slight changes. But for the most part, it is you do need to make sure that you don't overextend by putting a ton of things on the bottom that you want to use later, or give them answers back by giving them good cards that put on the bottom, because a lot of decks can search stuff.
Yeah, so, or in any time where you're pretty much having your opponent is having them shuffle their decks, right?
Yeah.
Like if they got cards like that, then
you're giving them answers back. So you want to give them stuff that isn't really gonna help them at all, and save like really good cards that you can personally play too, right? And you can do that on the J-Ruler side once per turn, but you can only play them if you're able to actually play that card at that time, right? So like if it's their turn, you can't just cast a creature without quick cast kind of thing, right? So you have to like, play it at the actual time. Yeah. So that's about it.
Cool. We've got like a backlog of videos we want to release, so by the time this guy gets released, it's either going to be just before or just after the new starter decks get released. So
they actually come out in like a week or something.
Yeah, a week from when we're recording this video. Yeah. So you guys are either going to see this in the week prior to the release or the week after, and we're probably going to release a bunch of videos just talking about our like the decks that we chose. I think I'm going to get the Gill one. I'm going to get the green one.
I'm probably going to go for the red one.
Yeah, the Dragonoid one. And we're probably going to get more than one, so if you were going to get a second one, which one would you choose?
Probably the Panda. My go-to colors are white and
white and red.
The Panda one looks kind of weak at the moment, but I'm guaranteeing that there's going to be like a win con in the booster packs.
The booster
packs for each set.
Don't be whack, I got your booster back.
Yeah. For each starter deck, they're going to have... They already teased stuff that works directly with the red starter deck. So, pretty sure they're going to have it for every starter deck.
Yeah. And on top of that, like... Oh, sorry, not on top. Oh, yeah, and on top of that, there's the sealed ability, right? So, like, the sealed ability could be, like, bonkers good.
For a while, the only sealed ability we've seen so far is the one on the Pandora that works with the golems. Mm-hmm. And what it does is it mobilizes one of them once per turn, for free, which... is fantastic. And then the flip side is you pay 4 and it buffs all of them by 4. So you can do it multiple times. It doesn't say you just do it once per game like a God's Art or something. So it's like a slightly weaker God's Art you can do multiple times.
Yeah. So, okay guys, like, subscribe, dislike, unsubscribe, do whatever. Just drop us some constructive criticism. Even just say like, hey Dayman, you've got a very sexy voice, so I want to auto-tune it and make it super baritone and make it sound like Barry White.
That would be amazing.
That'd be amazing. Yeah. We challenge somebody to do that.
Yeah.
But like only grab like every time the Dayman says all right.
All right, or anyways.
Anyways, he says anyways a bunch. Yeah. So just like make an auto-tune.
I'm actually super self-conscious now that I'm figuring that out. I'm like, oh man, I have like 3 words in my vocabulary.
I've ruined him, ladies and gentlemen.
I wouldn't go that far.
So, whoa. Anyway,
yeah, if you have any comments, like if you have a deck similar, but you do different things, leave a comment, just to see like different variations of the same thing. It's always nice to see other people's ideas of the same thing, but it works out to being a completely different deck, or like
totally
different.
And even just seeing the ways, like different ways that people think about combinations, it helps us to make different combinations of our own, right? Like we try to stay away from like just copy and pasting exact decks or exact like combinations, and kind of working off of the inspiration behind why that combination works.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm personally happy. I don't know about Dayman. I'm really happy that we revisited this ruler and that we gave him like an actual like good hurrah and made a good deck around him.
I've been working on this deck for quite a while too, because I really enjoy decks that can like use the opponent's deck against them. Because the first Gill had a God's Art where you grab like 3 things, put it into play, cool, that's it. This one is actually debatably better.
Yeah,
it's not. The other one's a 12/12. This is a 10/10, but it has abilities that can gain. It has the ability to play stuff that you've personally removed from their deck. It has like destruction built in. It has a ton of stuff.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, yeah, do the stuffs. We'll see you next time, and hopefully have a good time with the new decks.
Oh yeah, and peace out.
Peace out.